So this is my last Sunday homily here at the parish and an official goodbye weekend. But I'm here next weekend at all the masses. So it's a bit awkward. I kind of feel like that proverbial certain bad smell that just won't go away, you know. But there's good reasons for this farewell weekend because next weekend there's some big events happening. At 9 a.m. we're having a confirmation with the Archbishop here, and then after the 11:15 our Corpus Christi procession. So already next weekend there's lots of celebrations happening. And this weekend happens to be our parish feast day, so we were going to have cake after Mass anyway, and so why not tack on a farewell? So there we go. But I'll see you again next weekend. One of the questions that I've been asked most often lately is, are you happy about your new assignment in Ottawa? Well, I have to be a little careful here in case parishioners from Ottawa are listening in, right? But I can say in all honesty that my first choice, to ask what our choices are, my first choice was to stay here, but that wasn't an option as it turns out. And as you know, just a few weeks ago, we had 4 young men ordained to our community, and this is a wonderful thing, but as the saying goes, out with the old and in with the new. So I'm out, but and I kind of suspected that would happen because this is a great parish for a new young priest to cut his teeth. There's a variety of pastoral experiences to be had here, and of course Father Tim is a sought-after mentor by our young priests. Now, but it's hard for me to believe that I've been here 6 years, right? And you probably don't even remember what I looked like when I showed up 6 years ago, right? It was, I was a little different at that time. I had hair, there wasn't white in the beard, all that kind of stuff. No, actually, that was a while ago. I was dressed up as St. John the Baptist for an All Saints party. But it's been 6 years, I think you can relate that time flies. And on the one hand, so much has happened during these past 6 years. But at the same time, it just seems like it's gone by in a flash. And so there's a bit of mystery to time, right? Objectively, time is exactly, second by second, the same for each person on this planet. Yet, subjectively, our experience, your experience, my experience is different. And for some of you, for instance, like this homily is just dragging on already, and for some of you, it's going by in a flash because you've zoned out several times by now, But the reason I bring up this experience of time is that I'd like to compare it to the mystery of the Trinity. So objectively, God is present to each person on the planet exactly the same way. But subjectively, my experience, your experience of God is different and unique. And when it comes to the 3 persons of the Holy Trinity, we tend to experience sometimes each of those persons different and uniquely. So today I'm not going to try to explain all we know about the Holy Trinity, but if you are interested in deepening your understanding and knowledge, I recommend meditating on the Nicene Creed and also reading the Catechism of the Catholic Church. There's almost 30 paragraphs that are just really offer wonderful insights and explanations into the nature of the Holy Trinity. What I want to focus on is the relational aspect of the Trinity as a community of persons. Right? We have 3 distinct persons, but they are perfectly co-equal with one another as one God. So three persons in perfect union, or we say three persons in perfect relationship of total self-giving love. So one God, but a perfect communion of persons. And we relate to this community of persons as Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Now, from my experience, most people find it easier to relate to the Father and the Son because we experience this type of relationship in our families, right? In human families, our relationships are imperfect because we're dealing with imperfect people, but we can intuit an ideal situation, ideal family, ideal relationships. And we can intuit that between the Father and the Son because they are perfect divine persons. But the relationship between the Father and the Son, this perfect self-giving love, has a name, right? It's Holy Spirit. So the person of the Holy Spirit is the perfect self-giving love between the Father and the Son. Yet the Holy Spirit is co-equal with the Father and the Son. So the Trinity is a perfect community of persons. In a homily, John Paul II made reference to the Trinity in terms of a family, but I think it applies nicely to the Trinity as a community of persons as well. He wrote that our God in his deepest mystery is not a solitude, but a family, since he has in himself fatherhood, sonship, and the essence of the family, which is love. Right? The Holy Spirit, love. As I said, many people find it easier to relate to the Father and the Son, but the Holy Spirit sometimes is more challenging. But as Father Tim spoke about last week, the Holy Spirit is so important for us to have a lively faith experience and relationship with the Father and the Son. Right? The Holy Spirit is so important because he dwells in us and makes Jesus and the Father present in us. It's the Holy Spirit who continues to teach us and guide us in the ways of God that Jesus revealed to us. As Jesus told his disciples in our gospel today, I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all the truth. And one of the areas of truth in our faith is that we are strengthened in community. If you think of it, God created us in his image. He desires us to become like him. And he is a community of persons, and so he wants us to be in community with other persons. Our faith, our being children of God, who we are as children of God, is strengthened in community, and it's the Holy Spirit who guides us in this area of faith. You may have heard of the example of a bed of coals. You know, you have a bed of red-hot, glowing coals, and if you take one of those coals out and you put it aside separate, what happens? It soon just kind of grows dark and cold, right? Kind of lifeless. But if you bring that coal back into the bed of coals, it comes back alive, right? It glows red hot again. And so the analogy is that for us to try to live our Christian faith separate and alone from other believers, our faith will grow cold. And because God created us to be in community, to be strengthened in community, to strengthen one another, right? To have that effect on one another, to help our faith be alive. And over the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about our community and how we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Companions of the Cross. And our community started with what we call a share group. So just before our foundation, Father Bob Bedard, our founder, in 1984 began meeting with a few seminarians who were finding it difficult to live their Catholic faith at the university level and to pursue the path of priesthood. And so these seminarians met together with Father Bob for a time of prayer, sharing their blessings and struggles of the week, and to offer support and encouragement to one another. And their experience of this community, that community experience was so positive that they wanted to continue their share group into their priesthood. To make a long story short, this led to them wanting to live and minister together, and through the guidance of the Holy Spirit, our community, the Companions of the Cross, came into existence. So now, here we are 40 years later, and Father Tim and I and all the members of our community have continue to have share groups as part of our life, right? We still pray over each other regularly. We have community prayer and meals four times a week. So when I moved to Ottawa, that community and my daily life will continue with the brothers there. Now, the community life of the Companions of the Cross is not for all priests, but all priests and all Christians. You, every one of you, needs some form of community in order for your faith to be strengthened. God is a community of persons, right? The Holy Trinity. And we are reminded of this every time we make the sign of the cross. And so God created us in his image and desires us to imitate him and to become like him in living community. So today I invite you to reflect on your experience. How does your life reflect the life of the Trinity? Or to put it another way, where do you experience Christian community? How is your faith strengthened in community? And how are you strengthening the faith of others in community? Right? There's plenty of opportunities here at this parish. Right? This is a great parish. We have so many things being offered, so many opportunities to participate in a ministry team. There's so many groups that you can join, be it a prayer group or a study group. But ultimately, being strengthened in community is the work of the Holy Spirit. So ask the Holy Spirit to guide you, right? You can pray something like, Holy Spirit, stir within me a greater desire to be like the Trinity. Holy Spirit, guide me deeper into a life-giving experience of Christian community, that my faith may continue to grow, to glow red hot with faith and be inspired by your life. You know, from my experience being here for 6 years, I've been strengthened in my faith. I've been inspired in my faith through the experiences of community here at the parish. And I've seen many people come more alive in their faith, or deep in their faith, or come to a new level of faith because they joined or participated in a ministry or group. These are precious memories for me as I move on, right? These inspire me to continue my ministry. And so I'm grateful for each and every one of you who helped contribute to my experience of a community here at the parish. You know, I've really appreciated my time here. I will miss you. I will miss this community. And I will be praying that each of you may grow in your appreciation of what you have offered here in Christian community, and that you will be strengthened in your faith, that you will continue to grow in the image of the Holy Trinity, who are the perfect community of